Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Shadow Wraith, and today I'm here with Arash again. Hi, Arash.
How's it going? What's up? What's up?
I'm absolutely fantastic, mainly because the boys from Harad are back. That's right.
We're back, baby.
We're back, and we're back strong, okay? I think our topic for today is just how to annoy elf players, how to get rid of them,
Pretty much.
how to tell them that
Pretty
they're
much.
just... I mean, they're filthy elf players, so, you know. We're just going to tell you how
They
to
are
make
the
their...
most
Yeah.
smug of smug people.
Yeah, we're just going to tell you how to make their day even worse at a tournament, okay? So that's the main
Brilliant.
thing. Because I don't know about you, Arash, but around my part, and things like Articon and stuff, there seems to be quite a lot of elf players. I've seen.
I mean, if you're going to a 6-game tournament, chances are half of them are going to be against some form of elves.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And I just can't stand by that. And I've seen these people lose to elves, and I'm like, this is not okay. This is not okay. I mean, it's not as bad as losing to hobbits, but I'm joking. Okay, if you're losing to hobbits at like 400
Bring back
points,
Hobbit tier.
yeah, hobbit tier is
Yeah.
a thing. It's still a thing. It's legit. But yeah,
I mean, if you go to a tournament and you see a neckbeard, chances are they're playing elves.
absolutely. And they might be Irish. And, they're probably playing Rivendell
Check their
Knights.
dice. Definitely check their dice.
Yeah, check their dice, mate. I saw that. Oh man. In case anyone doesn't know, that's just a bit of a inside joke of our last Articorn experience.
We're still salty after 2 years.
Exactly. That's right. We'll go back and make them pay. Okay, we'll go and make them pay. We've got a bit of grey hair in our head now. Got a bit more experience. We've dealt with elves. Now it's the time to pass
Too
on
long.
our knowledge to you on how to deal with these horrible.
A very limited knowledge,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just roll higher than the elves and you'll be fine.
pretty much. Unless you're an orc, then, you're screwed.
In which case, just give up. Just go home. Okay, go back to Morgan. Yeah, can't afford it. You were born like a week ago. Like no one cares.
Elves are technically child killers then, aren't they?
They are. See, we can't let child killers like go around doing what they do because that's why it makes it even more sweeter though. Like just on a side note, when I play like Goblin Town as my Goblin Town or Mordor, and my like goblin kills an elf warrior, I'm like. He was born like 2 days ago, and he just stabbed that like 3,000-year-old warrior in the face.
3,000-year-old warrior dies to goblin with sharp rock.
With sharp rock or his mother's snapped femur bone. Prison style
Tooth
shank
that fell out
it.
yesterday from decay.
Yeah.
He stuck it on a stick.
Yeah.
Die with my premolar, like, just in the neck of an elf. So basically, today's gist is we're going to teach you how to bathe in the blood of the immortals.
Absolutely. And legend has it, if you do that, then they may pass their power on to you, and you can roll nothing but sixes on your shooting. But let's first cover
Sixes
why.
to wounds.
Sixes to wound, yeah. That's first. I'd say, like, why do you think there's a like people struggle with elves? Why people might not like elves so much? Like,
So, number one, they're good. Let's as much as we despise our enemy, you got to respect the base profile because thank you, 𝐾𝐜𝐸. I think they're undercosted. 9 points base, defense 5 with heavy armor,
I mean,
with an elven blade.
yeah, hand and a half elven blade as well, so they got versatility there.
Yeah. Whenever I see an elf play, like, oh, they're not killing. Yes, they are. You're just not playing them aggressively.
like,
Be a Chad.
Be a Chad, two-hand with your weapon sometimes. Come on. Okay.
Exactly.
And it's just. I mean, it's the high fight plus elven blade. They're just good at everything, okay? Unless you're playing like wood elves, in which case their downside is their armor. You got Rivendell. Like, Rivendell warrior is what? Good at shooting, got good armor, good fight value, and then has a bonus to win just in case you're like you have the audacity to bring an evil hero that's fight 5, so they've just got the extra chance of beating them in combat as a basic warrior.
Another issue with the elves is they're literally yellow allies with everyone.
Yeah.
Literally everyone, because they've been around for ages. And Middle Earth lore, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a Tolkien expert, but you get some really bloody jank alliances like Lake Town, Army of Lake Town, Rivendell, Mirkwood.
Yeah.
You take Legolas's grandma, some Rivendell captain. Braga's wife. Braga turns into like a fight five menace with the army of Lake Town with shooting cover from Legolas and Círdan just like casting all over the place. It's a mess.
It's an absolute mess. I
Do you know what I mean?
post FAQ, it's gotten a little bit better where like you had to bring certain heroes of heroic tiers depending on alliance level, and then not everyone can spam Galadriel, Lady of Light in their lists, because I remember I went to a Reading tournament, and literally every single list was a good list with the Lady of Light allied in, like just slammed in. It's Minister of Lady of Light. It's like, what?
Hey man, well they put him for Lady of Light. They make up for it in lack of skin in the game in some circumstances, or they just maybe they look like a neckbeard. I don't know. Neckbeard lives matter. We're not completely slaughtering you. It's more your mannerisms and your appearance.
Absolutely, and sometimes your odor offends. No, I'm joking. I could be called a neckbeard because I've run Vanquishers for a few tournaments. I've won these tournaments with Vanquishers. Absolute neckbeard list, and it's got an elf in it.
Yeah, you're definitely a neckbeard.
Yeah, but sometimes I run pure chariots, like
See, be a Chad.
Be a Chad. Be a chariot. So it's just. Oh, sorry, carry on.
But yeah, we were just talking about what makes elves so good. Strong heroes, elite profile. So their base unit is basically Mordor's best profile, if that. Can't even equate. They can't even equate to it.
No.
If a Gondorian warrior needs to be as good as an elf, he has to bring Boromir, Captain of Gondor, with a banner.
Yeah.
The Easterlings literally had to break the game just to be on the same level as elves. The game is broken. Well, that is a chat for another time, but
yeah,
J players literally had to break the game to make the Easterlings decent.
I think it's just a mistake on the Easterlings. When he first wrote the profile, or whatever, whoever writes it, they just shouldn't have been fight 3. They just shouldn't have. How
are they
the same fight as an orc?
The palanquin carriers, defense 6. Their shields are not even there.
Oh yeah, just don't. It's a
mess. How has he got heroic defense? How is it a 12-inch banner? How is the standfast belt? That's another time. All right, we'll do another video on how to beat the Dragon Emperor's Legendary Legion with our very, very limited knowledge. So you can't hold us accountable. I mean, if you lose.
To be honest, I've got one tactic. It's just bash. That's my tactic.
I don't even think you can bash him out.
Can you not bash him off his?
I don't know. I don't think you can.
Yeah, because you can't magic him. You can't really fight. Another time. We're talking about elves. We digress. So
I have killed him in one turn. The Dragon Emperor. I have killed him in one turn. No. There is a Dutch YouTube channel out there who's done a video on the Dragon Emperor Legendary Legion. That individual was going to finish on a podium place in the doubles. I think maybe he did or he didn't. I'm not sure. At Ardacon. And Mike Glorfindel killed his Dragon Emperor in the first turn.
So you're telling me your elf character ruined someone else's play experience?
This is what I mean. I felt disgusting playing elves. It was the one and only time I played elves, but it was the only thing I had painted.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I hate myself for it. I had to have a shower, and I was literally scrubbing myself for 3 days after touching those minis. I haven't been out of the box since.
To be fair, I had to scrub my hands with bleach for at least 4 days after using Vanquishers each time, so it's fine. It's fine. I get it. We all got to that point where I only want to paint 4 models, so
elves have got solid shooting, good defense usually, strong heroes, decent alliance, decent to very good alliance matrix.
Yeah, they play all the scenarios well.
Yep.
Yeah, they can do contest of champions if that's still a thing. I haven't seen it come up in a tournament for a very long time now. I think people are kind of doing away with it.
Came up with the Warhammer World Team Championships.
Oh, did it?
So my poor little Suladan had to go up against a Dragon Emperor.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
I won the game, but it was a slog.
Yeah. No, I could imagine. What else is there? The fact that you've got, it's just their heroes as well. And what goes through someone's mind when you're writing an elf list? Right, you got this elite warrior, yeah? I get it, they're elite for 9 points. You know what they need? You need at least 2 of the major elf factions to have some way to increase their fight value even further, don't you?
2 of the major, there's 3, right? You forgot about the Mirkwood boys.
Oh, mate, so you've got Mirkwood elves, the Halls of Thranduil, and Thranduil's got his buff to make his Palace Guard fight 6, and +1 to wound. Brilliant, okay? Thanks for that. And then you've got Rivendell, who you can upgrade. 𝐃𝐽𝐬𝐿AD's like elite guard. What are they called? They're Palace Guard or something. They're not Palace Guard. Guardians of the King, something to that equivalent for like an extra point.
Yeah.
And they go up to fight 6. Like that's Strider, you know. That's Strider.
Yeah. Palace Guard captain who can get to fight 7 with +1 to wound, 2+ to wound if he 2 hands.
Yeah, at defense 7 with a shield.
For 80 points. For 80 points.
Yeah, it's insane. So that's why people hate elves. They just seem to be able to do everything. They've got like every single toy. They're the rich kid next door that you look over, your little beaten up fence and your like spotty garden that's dying. You look over and he's playing with all the new Lego pieces. That's elves. Okay?
Yeah, the armies are well rounded. Especially Rivendell, they've got amazing synergies. They've got 𝐾𝐸𝐿. They can take Lindir, Arwen, and Elrond for just spamming Nature's Wrath. Their shooting is excellent. Their fighting is excellent. I don't buy that they're not killy. You can 2-hand. Mirkwood is especially killy, but Rivendell, Lothlorien can do a job as well. They can get fight 6 if they need to. Their heroes are excellent. They get a free banner, some of them, in Lord of the West, and a reroll to wound, and a reroll. Yeah, no, reroll to win the fight and reroll to wound.
Yeah. One ability.
You've got solid cav.
Do you have Rivendell Knights?
Special rules. Yeah, they got decent casting. Galadriel, Compel, Transfix, etc. 𝐾𝐸𝐿's got Aura of Dismay, Aura of Command, Blinding Light, Enchanted Blades.
Blades.
I don't know how we learned that at carpentry school, how to make someone's knives extra stabby.
Yeah.
But
he's just like,
apparently, I enchanted blades my carving tool to build more ships to go to Valinor, so I'm going to put it on his spear. Like, all right, dude, you do you. I think another thing about elf players is the actual player.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
a lot of them can come across as very, very smug about being an elf player. They're like,
oh my god,
I play elves and I'm superior.
They literally, their eyes roll back into their heads every time they say, I've got an elven blade.
Yeah.
They literally look at the point of climaxing.
Yeah.
as soon as you try fight with an elven warrior and you're like, these words will come out his mouth. I've got an elven blade and I win on a 3-up. And as soon as it's a 3-up, he will come in his pants.
100%. To be honest, I'm pretty sure.
Bust a nut all over the table.
Most of the time, it's like Tide Duel. All they have to hear is Tide Duel, fight value, and you just hear a thump from under the table as they as they get excited.
literally.
The eyes roll back.
It's weird. I've hesitated on shaking hands at the end of the game for that very reason.
Exactly. They love their elven blade.
They're just so smug.
Seriously, they are. Like, I have had players. Like, this is not all players. Like, I'm sure some of you are chill. Sure. You know.
Oh, absolutely. Majority. We're just being rude.
We're just being rude to elf players because we don't like elf. So, you know.
No.
All the players. You know, you've all got neckbeards, so. And I'm going to die alone. No, I'm joking. No, I'm sure your mums love you. No, I'm joking. Anyway, yeah, so not only can they get super high fight value, they already start at high fight value, but if you have the audacity, like I said, to have your orc hero like Suladan get into a fight with a normal elf and draw because you both rolled a 6, that's it. The elven blade busts in and he just beats your 115-point hero with his 9-point elf.
Oh, they will be not just not on the table. They'll be not on the ceiling, on the door, the fucking terrain, everywhere. It's disgusting.
I mean, it's horrific. I think there's a.
I've literally ran Suladan because I really knew this come off. He had no might. I ran him into one elf warrior. He decided to fight it. Won the fight. I did a wound to Suladan. I had no fate. He got the leader VP for that. For wounding, and I guarantee, I shit you not, his eyes rolled into the back of his head, and both his hands were on the table gripping it.
Both hands. That's a bit of a.
Both hands on the table, and I heard a slight grunt as well.
Slight grunt. Just see the vein.
It was literally like that. It was weird.
You see the biting on the side of his temple just bulge slightly.
Biting his bottom lip, sweating profusely.
Amazing.
And nuts.
Yeah. So that's the elf experience.
That's the elf player.
That's the elf player.
What we're gonna teach you guys today is how to body elves.
Exactly.
How to body them. Yeah. Give you the tools so that you can turn their smugness on themselves. I tell you what, I've one-shot Celeborn before with a Mahud King, just charging into him like a a Hail Mary. Literally, you bombarded him with his spear, struck higher than him, took him out. And the look on his face was priceless. I didn't win the tournament. I finished pretty high. Didn't win it.
Yeah.
But just seeing that elf player and that smugness just disappear made my weekend.
I mean,
every time I see that person now, I smile.
He's just a little grin as he walks past.
Literally.
You see the shame in his eyes.
He brought shame upon all elf players. It was amazing.
He just walks off with his little anime backpack.
So in terms of... So you agree, we need to teach people how to body elves, right?
Yeah, so how to body elves. Like, I mean, my experience with bodying elves, and I've done it. As an evil player, I've done it. Obviously, I play a lot of ring wraiths, so, you know, you can just magic some of the elves, but they probably got magic resistant. But we're talking about, like, the faction in general. Like, most of them are, like, really good at magic, and they'll just out-magic you, or they're really defensive in their magic. So, unless you can heavily outnumber them in a fight, because that's what you want to do. You want to roll more dice than elves in a duel. So when you start getting to that point, that's when you start, you know, taking down shiny boys in golden armor. Yeah. The other way is, as you just said, Arash, that sweet thing you get called impact hits. I mean, you can be fight 1,000,000, but you ain't going to be safe from an impact hit.
Yeah, but the impact hits are very niche to one faction. I mean, if we're going to talk about general overall strategies, I think it's something that you talked about is find ways to isolate elves into one-on-one fights. Yeah. If you can do that, and they whiff, you will smack their face in. If you're, you know, strength 4, even if you're strength 3, you might kill them. But if you can get them into 1v1s, their efficiency drops dramatically.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you see an elf shield wall in front of you, not they have shield wall, but, you know, sword and board up front, spears supported behind.
Spear down at the back, waving his hands around.
Exactly. You're not going to send your orc force into that, because you're not going to come out looking good. You know, it's like barbarians charging into a Roman like shield wall. It's not going to go. It's not going to go well. Yeah. So you need to find ways to break their line. And once you break their line, that's when you can start, you know, encircling pockets of elves. You want to have the numbers on them, or get them at least to a 1v1 thing. So it's like just naked dice rolls. They're not rolling multiple dice, because as soon as they roll a 6, like, just getting rid of, like, you know, 2 dice down to 1, like, just reduces their chances of rolling 6 by half, which is massive. Yeah, absolutely massive. Yeah, you know, and then it's anyone's game from there. They've got a slightly better chance of winning just because if you tie. But yeah, that's what I find. So the way to break lines, if you can, like, magic is quite a good way, because the typical elf warrior, elf cavalry, they're not usually resistant to magic unless you're playing against like Lothlorien. Okay, resistant magic is annoying, but it's not like that's it, no point casting spells. The amount of times I've got a Wraith to pull an elf out of position to then body that elf, you gank him, especially cavalry. Like, if I see them running around with like the Mirkwood cavalry, they're quite tasty near Thranduil, because he's a banner for them. Pulling one of them out in position, bodying it with a bunch of orcs, and then maybe just turning that into like some kind of Yabombe, like heroic combat off that guy, because you're probably going to kill it. Yeah. Into like the side of their main battle line.
So you mentioned the heroic combat. That's when they'll mention the fight 5 and grip the table. So the way to do that is to make sure that you, if you can, have 2 heroes in there, one who will strike and one who will pull the combat. Yes, you're investing a lot of resources, but the one who strikes can move on. If he's a decent hitter, could kill 1 to 2 more elves that turn. Whereas you can just advance your orcs, little orcs, or whatever you're playing. We generally play evil, so I play a lot of South runs. You play a lot of Mordor. Yeah. Generally advance your army a lot closer, therefore negating their shooting advantage the next turn. But yeah, magic is a good way to deal with them. 2 of the main elf factions, obviously 1, the entire bloody army is resistant to magic. But you know, they're probably the weakest of the elf factions, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but we can let them have that, because they're not Rivendell or Thranduil's halls, like.
No. And it's still good. I mean, Jay won Articon with him, but.
Well, I mean, no surprise.
That's Jay.
Yeah. Isn't he like friends with the guy who runs it? But it's all good.
Nah. Of course not. Skill.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean,
I didn't mean that sarcastically at all. Like, he's one of the best players.
To be fair, he wrote the game. Like, you're gonna be good at it. Like, if I wrote a game, I mean, if I'm not the best at my game that I wrote, there's something going wrong, isn't there? Like, I know it in and out.
Yeah, but if you wrote the game, you wouldn't go play the game every week.
No, I wouldn't. To be fair, I wouldn't go to like big tournaments with my own game. No. I'd love to see people playing it, but like going to win my own tournaments for my own game it just wouldn't be my cup of tea, I guess. But who knows?
We love to be controversial here on the Boys from Harad. We don't have many friends, so we just like shitting on everyone.
No, it's literally, no friends whatsoever. To be fair, I play ring race, and you like hitting people with camels and half trolls.
Yeah, man, it's a easy life. It's a fun life.
It is.
It's a simple life. Camel with tusk kill elf.
I'm gonna have to put not for younger viewers on the start of this video. The amount of comments about.
I have a game today though where one Mahud Raider boy killed 4 Kingsguard.
Oh,
just
what a lad! What a lad!
Save my Mumak.
Ah, see, I love
Stops
that.
all the Fight 6 guys from getting into the Mumak. Oh yeah, Fight 6 Elf Warriors, by the way, for a point extra.
Yeah,
that's just another point of content. But yeah, killed 4 dudes. But I feel like we're digressing.
Yeah.
I think the main issue here is in a lot of scenarios, this is how the elves will set up. So I'm thinking scenarios like Lords of Battle, scenarios like To the Death, Clash by Moonlight, Breakthrough, a lot of them. The elves will have a solid shield wall. Now, they don't have the shield wall special rule, but there will be some sort of rectangular block or sort of pyramid formation, arrowhead formation, where it's shield up front, swords at the back, and this is generally sort of pure elf armies, but you can get like, Iron Hills, Rivendell, Lake Town seems to be a very popular one.
I wonder why.
And then bows either on the spearmen or off to the side a little bit, on terrain, some cav to go grab objectives, or just to be sort of the hammer and anvil type. A hero just behind the front line with a gap in the front line so he can run through and target who he wants.
Yeah.
Very, very, very standard, very simple, very effective. The way you deal with that. Now, if they are out in the open, what you have to do then is spread your line. Spread your line, try and get around them, try and get those 1v1s, and try and get the board quickly, because chances are they're going to have between sort of 8 to 10 bows, more if it's higher points. And if you're low defense, they will shred you. Generally speaking, they will shred you.
Yeah.
If you can get up the board quickly and get around their flanks, what that then forces them to do is shift a bit and get a little bit uncomfortable. Now, if they're in a really entrenched position between 2 buildings, and they're like, nope, we're not coming out to you. Fine, you just hide behind terrain. You get as close as you can, call a march, hide behind terrain, take a couple of pot shots here and there, and then try to figure out a strategy where you can either send your cav around the back just to threaten their rear as much as you can, and my advice would be, if you have some big hitters, and I advise you to have at least 2 big hitters in your army, charge them into the elves, call a double strike, kill 2 elves. Earn might. 4 elves is a lot. You can kill 4 elves in the first turn, and then your troops get in, and maybe a couple of them die, but maybe you lose 3, but you kill an elf. If you're using basic ass Mordor orcs, that's a win.
Oh yeah, 100%.
In my books.
I mean,
and then you just apply that pressure, because they've now lost 5 elves in the first turn, and you've got Cav going around their back.
See that? Yeah, I mean,
that's one way to crack the between 2 building shield elf wall shield, in my opinion.
See, there's another really good way that I found is quite effective, which is not too dissimilar to what you just said. I go for like an oblique order kind of battle line. When I see when I say a shield wall or battle line, I'm talking, like you said, sword and board up front, spear supporting. Okay, if I see an elf shield wall like that with the oblique order, I'll try, and usually I'm running like something like Morannon's or something with a shield, because you need shields to make this work, and somewhat of a defense. You don't want to be getting winning on like defense 3. And when you do engage, your thin front line, which is not supported or anything, their job is literally to shield, so your mass of your infantry can then flank round. So whether you've piled up on one of the flanks or both the flanks more heavily and your centre's weaker, their job is just to shield and hold up whilst you hit them in the flanks. And the thing is, if they try and push through, they're just getting themselves surrounded. I love having killy heroes on the sides, the flanks. So Gothmog's not too bad. Off the top of my head, like Shagrat's an absolute beast. Anything like that. Any way you can knock an elf prone or get more strikes when you finally do win a fight is just massive. Because once you actually do win a fight against an elf, you want to make sure you put that elf down, because they're still tough usually.
Agreed. They are still tough.
But
you hit the nail on the head here. Getting in those 1v1s.
yeah,
You know, on average you'll lose more, but you're still what, D5, D6, even D4. They still need 5s to wound you.
yeah,
If you win the fight, you're stabbing, you're piercing, striking, you're two-handing, whatever you have. That if you win the fight, you know you can kill them.
yeah.
Because you have the numbers, you can afford the losses.
Yeah, if you're getting outnumbered by elves, like, you need to look at your list. To be honest, if you're playing evil and outnumbered by elves, like, obviously if you're playing like fucking Bjornings, like, yeah, you're gonna be outnumbered.
I get outnumbered with elves all the time with my evil army. But
I mean, you're bringing half trolls.
They can bash the head. I love it. I love playing.
Half trolls.
Love it. I love playing half trolls against elves. It's so good.
Because even if the elf wins, your defense 6 with 2 wounds, you're like, yeah, and what, bro?
And what, bro? And what? I think I've played elves. Maybe must be over 20 times now.
Yeah,
Approaching 25, 30 times with Far Harad, with the Mahud, was it the half trolls. So about 25 to 30 games. I've lost 3.
wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just because they go in there. The most recent loss was at Bristol Independent Gaming. You know, against a chap called Stephen Denby, really good player, nice guy. He's got a channel as well. And that was because it was Seize the Prize, and the prize was in woodland terrain, which is another issue I have with elves. And he managed to run it around with 𝐾𝐲𝐬𝐜. You know, really good play there. Well, I broke him. My trolls beat the shit out of his army.
To be fair, if you break an elf army, then I think you get like some kind of win there, because
yeah,
I love that. I just love saying that. Yeah, well, I broke him.
Yeah,
it's like Jesus.
And then the first game I played against this guy was in Cardiff, and he had 𝐾𝐲𝐬𝐜 Elrond. It was 750 points.
Ooh,
and I broke him there again. And I didn't break, and I won that game because the half trolls just clean up. Doesn't matter if you've got Kingsguard. If you win the fight, you're not killing me. I win the fight, I'm smashing your head in.
Absolutely.
But that's if you really hate elves like I do. I don't take half trolls because I love half trolls. I take half trolls because I hate elves. The difference.
You would have crushed
you
them.
know what I mean? Because I know I'm going to play elves. And every time I do, those half trolls, they put in so much work.
I think there's one list that you've played against, Arash, that is very good at anti-elves. And that's my Angmar list, the 2 Wraith Angmar list I run.
Agreed. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So,
well,
I mean, I haven't played it for a while, but it is... So, obviously, you got the Witch King. No, is it the Witch King? Yeah, it's the Witch King on his lovely Fell Beast. And then you've got the Tainted on his horse.
Yep.
And then, of course, you've got Shade. Boom. And just spam as many orcs as you can. Sprinkling, maybe... I usually go for, like, 1 Barrow White. Just 1, because I've got enough magic.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too many
Fairly
points on
low
heroes.
points.
Yeah. They're 50 points. I'm there. They're really scary. People tend to keep their heroes away from a Barrow White. You know, what's it? Paralyze on a 4+, and I've got 5 will to do it. Like, he's probably going to do it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. Spectres, Deadmarch Spectres. Right, everyone's going to hate me for this. Everyone, okay? I don't rate them. Okay, then hear me out.
Yeah, I don't rate you for saying that.
I'm sorry, but they're 15 points for a gimmick that requires the good army to be low courage, on top of that not be fearless. And you tell me how much
it doesn't
fearless...
have to be a good army. You could be fighting Angmar Mirror match and you're moving his warriors all around, but then I guess he's doing it to you as well.
Yeah. All right. Like, but I think even in that list I've got 1 or 2. I think I've got 2, like max. But they're not my favourite. I like orcs. I like lots of Mordor orcs, okay? Whack a banner in there with a shade, and you're going to win every single fight pretty much, unless you roll like an idiot. Because I think I went against your... you played what? Mirkwood? Was it Mirkwood you were playing?
No. I wasn't playing Mirkwood.
You were playing some...
Yeah, you were prepping for a good v Evil tournament.
Yeah, you were helping me out elves. By playing elves.
Yeah, you wanted to practice against elves, so I brought those filthy tree dwellers.
Yeah, the filthy.
And they were absolutely bodied.
Yeah, and it was just like one turn of combat where all these orcs are just piercing, striking with the shade behind them, banner reroll. The wraiths are just causing absolute havoc.
Bodied. They got bodied. It was
because
to be honest, I didn't mind.
No, I bet you loved it. You sat there like making all sorts of grunting.
Self-inflicted pain.
Yes, Daddy. No, oh, Jesus.
You're suffering, please, me.
It is a good pain. But the reason that works so well against elves is because I can disrupt their lines with 2 types of magic. I've got a Fell Beast who, if you've watched any of my Fell Beast videos, I've done quite a good one that people seem to have liked, where it's tactics, how to use a Fell Beast or Witch King on Fell Beast, which shows you about, hurls, things like that, heroic combats, getting into the right place to disrupt lines and knock people over.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So I'm isolating
And then
them.
again,
Sorry, Karen.
I think we're getting too niche here again.
Oh, we're going to pure
Like, if you're
Angmar.
an
Okay.
evil-
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
we're
saying.
turn into an Angmar chat. Yeah,
I'm just
But
saying.
Angmar's one way.
I'm just saying.
But then they'll just sit back on a hill and shoot and
The thing that
be more fans that way.
we kind of have similar in these 2 lists is we have a way to disrupt their norm. So I can move them
Pretty
about, or I have different tactics to break up their line. Okay, you've got good tactics to break up their line, whether it be impact hits, and you're good at maximizing on opportunities when you do get into a position where you can strike at an elf with your half trolls.
Exactly.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Because
I'm gonna apologize here for getting into a lot of inappropriate sexual innuendos in an MESBG miniature game chat. But if you are a very vanilla person, if you are bringing a very vanilla list, you like a calm life, you prefer mayonnaise to hot sauce, you do missionary with your wife, and you're a ministerial player,
yeah,
you are probably looking for an answer on how to beat elves, barring taking an Avenger Bolt Thrower or 2, right?
yeah, that makes sense.
Play the objectives is my best advice. Now, it sounds like it's counterintuitive. It's very dumb. Oh, I'm just going to play the objectives, but then his elves are going to come and body me. A lot of games are going to be like Destroy the Supplies, or Domination, Breakthrough, Reconnoiter, Divide and Conquer, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
Chances are, if you're Mr. Vanilla, or Mrs. Vanilla, or them, they Vanilla, we don't discriminate here on Boys From Harad.
Exactly.
You play the objectives the best you can. Try and isolate the elves into one-on-one fights. If they have a big 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐿 running around, right? There's a few ways you can deal with the big heroes. You can throw 1 warrior in a turn if you're winning priorities, right? Chances are, if you're playing Ministerial, if you can have more might, you call the moves, you run 1 guy in. He's going to have to be a Fountain Court guard just to guarantee it, if because he's fearless. Otherwise, you don't want you just courage 4 Ministerial warrior running into 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐿. And then you back that person up with a spear support, so if he calls the combat, he just runs into another guy, because chances are he's going to be congested on both sides. Then what you do is you run your big hero into 2 elves. He's going to be fight 6 if he's Boromir. It's fight 5, you call the strike, you kill 2 elves, right? You invest those resources to chip away at his troops, right? You need to be killing a minimum of about 3 to 4 a turn once your lines have clashed successfully. The rest of your guys just hold the line, hold the objectives, use your superior numbers, make sure that you're in more sort of an arrowhead formation, so the elves can't get around your flanks if they tried. You're going to have to cop some shooting, but you will be able to shoot back with your rangers. Play the objective, so if you're playing sort of divide and conquer, make sure you get to the middle as quickly as possible. Use your overwhelming numbers, call the marches if you need to. Chances are, a lot of elf armies that I've played don't have march.
Yeah.
They'll take Círdan instead, so you'll get there before they do. Hold the objectives. Try and isolate the heroes as much as you can. If you're feeling lucky, you can take the heroes out. If they've overextended and you're confident in your striking capability, if you've got LSR with an Elven Blade and you can tie, or something along those lines.
To be fair, I think you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
With the sorry, just jump in. With the, I find a lot of people, and I was guilty of it myself. You just get that kind of like tunnel vision, that sniper scope on. My big hero has to kill his big hero.
Exactly.
No, kill his elves. Kill his elves.
Yeah.
100%.
Focus on his infantry.
Could not have said it better myself. That is amazing. Yes, perfect piece of advice. Kill his elves with your big scary hero. Whether you have to strike or not, whatever. Just get them off the table.
Use your might. Your might is for striking. You run in. So I play, you know me, I play double Mudhead King and Soladan. I will have a turn where all 3 of them run into combat. All 3 of them call a strike, which means I'm higher fight than the elves. And I've killed 6 elves. in the first turn.
That's a
of
huge
combat.
blow to the elves.
You can't. It's almost. And then once, for me personally, and I'm not. This is very niche. I'm a half troll player with a lot of Mahud raiders and blowpipes and arrows. Once I've killed 6 elves in the first turn of combat, you cannot come back from that. As my opponent, very rarely you will come back from that, because in the next turn the other boys are coming in, and you wound my half troll, he's still there. Do you know what I mean? I kill your elf, he's gone.
Yeah.
But that is a very specific case. So I kind of went on a bit of a ramble there. Play the objectives, trying to nullify their heroes with your troops. Try and kill their hero if you're feeling lucky. Take a shot at their leader if the opportunity presents itself to get that leader VP. But nullify their heroes with infantry while your hero puts in work. Now, I did this at Ardacon last year, where my regular warriors were sort of pinning down Glorfindel turn after turn after turn. Sort of put them in a corner, and then my heroes just going around killing elves. And you can't come back from that.
No, I agree. I'm thinking back on my elf games that I've played against, and yeah, once I've hit them hard, really fast, initially, they can't come back. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, exactly. One of their greatest strengths is how elite they are, because you can't take many of them.
Yeah,
which is why they sort of supplement them with a bunch of Lake Town refugees.
Oh yeah, the ones that are better at shooting than like orcs, but cost the same as goblins.
Yeah, I mean, orcs haven't been fighting constantly for decades, but a guy who literally just got his house burnt down yesterday has a better shoot value.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And then shoots even better when like some random old dude's like shoot better, and then gets plus 25 value because that dude, that sexy looking god of a man, says fight better. I'm now better than Boromir for half his points.
And then gets +1 to wound when some badass woman with a spear tells her that you have to kill better, and also he's base defense 4. Because he stuck a bit of burnt raft to himself and salvaged wood as his armor, and suddenly that's the same armor as a Mordor orc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense, mate.
Yeah. Literally, I painted the models like, come on, they're in rags, man. They're in rags. My Watchers of Karna look more armored.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's a joke. But yeah, play objectives, isolate heroes, kill troops. 1v1s as much as you can, flank, and get in their back as well. If you can get in their back, chances are you're going to do way more damage. If you've got a big scary hero like Dane, you 100% call those combats just to kill as many elves. Kill 4 a turn if you can. Obviously, don't overextend. That's a massive thing. So if you've got a big scary hero fighting elves with like Dane, don't kill the front 9 and then run into the spear supports. Leave a cavalry size gap next to the 2 you've just charged if you're charging second. Kill the front 2 and then move on to the next front 2. Because you do that, there's less chance of you punching a Dane size hole through his line and then losing the roll off, and then the heroes coming in and ganking Dane because elves are just superior fighters in every way. Roll's eyes, Elven Blade. Asterix. But yeah, that's another piece of advice I would give. Play the objective, isolate heroes, spread out, trap the warriors or get around the warriors as much as you can. Get those 1v1s, get those 2v1s with hopefully your superior numbers. If not, you've got to have a bloody good reason why not.
Yeah, like half trolls.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how to beat them in an objective holding based game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Most of the scenario, I say most, it's literally like even if you break, you can still win. Hold ground, just run, heroic march into the center, hold the center, keep them 6 inches away, and even if you break, you still win. Like, just play the scenario.
Yeah, at that point, let them shoot you.
Yeah, just be like, come at me, bro. Okay, cool. You know what? I'm gonna opt to put my shield down. There's wow, ones like that. Like, I mean, you should have numbers on evil. If you're playing like Iron Hill Dwarves, that's completely different. But then you've got the toughness and the defense to shrug off elves. Like, yeah, they'll win the fights, but the thing is, they won't hit you anywhere near as hard as if you would hit them.
Yeah, even their heroes aren't really killing at that point.
No, they're not touching.
Unless you're Gil-galad.
Gil-galad's a different story, but to be honest, Gil-galad is like ridiculous, you know. It's like Glorfindel. The man came back to life to kick more ass.
Unless you're Gil-galad or a Palace Guard captain, then you're,
Mate, Palace
not
Guard
doing
captain
much.
is better than better fight than Elrond. Like what? Oh my god, you know.
No, he's just as good as Azog, right? So,
Yeah,
and
100%.
Azog and Bolg. Bolg, who's about, what, 40 years old, is a better fighter than Elrond.
Yeah. Oh, it's just insane.
And Celeborn. Celeborn, who fought in the, I don't know if he was in the Silmarillion, I'm guessing he was, but
I mean, he's an elf.
Celeborn did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nuts.
Yeah, it's
No
absolutely
Tolkien nerds come at me. I literally just play the game and watch the movies. Don't get mad.
Well, actually, I think you'll find in the Silmarillion. No,
Go fuck yourself.
if you're a massive Tolkien nerd, that's absolutely fine. You enjoy it, but don't punish us for it. That's the motto I go with. Like, you want to have a chat about ancient Rome, I'll punish you with that if you want. We'll study what we study. But yeah, no. I think the takeaway from that is, play the objective. Don't get focused on their heroes. With your heroes, you want to be killing elves, and use your numbers. You want to get duels where you can. Ideally, you want to be outnumbering the elves. You want to be rolling equal to or more dice than each elf in each fight.
But this is the vanilla way to play.
Yeah.
We don't do that here. We play like Chads, or we try to.
Yeah, you just bring
And
all
the
Candish
Chad way
cherries.
is, I want to kill Elrond. I want to kill Gil-galad.
To
I
be
want to
fair,
kill Glorfindel.
To be fair, yeah, I mean, I say don't have tunnel vision. When my two wraiths snap eyes from across the room. They down their drinks as the rhythm booms. Skip the names and black dot Elrond. Anyone know that song? Just let me know in the comments. You should. It's a pretty old song, but come on.
Now, if you're feeling greedy and you want those extra VPs, here's a way to do it. And you want to get the big hitters or the heroes. The biggest strength of an elven hero is also their biggest weakness. That's the best bit of wisdom you'll hear today.
Oh.
They will be desperate to make sure that their 185 point Gil-galad is going to make up 185 points during the game. That's how elves play. It was specifically Rivendell in that sense. Is they have that shield wall, they hold the line, they kill the troop here and there, and the big hitters get the kills, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they're playing Glorfindel, Gil-galad. Let's go Glorfindel this time, actually. He's pretty decent. Or Elrond, even. We'll stay with Elrond. We love Elrond here. He's probably the most tolerable elf.
To be fair, Elrond,
Yeah.
he's in many of my thumbnails. I love that dude.
Let's go with Glorfindel, actually. Let's go with Glorfindel just because, he's more of a hitter. Elrond can be a bit more of a supporting / hitting character.
Yeah.
He wants to make up 170 points for Glorfindel. So he's going to hit, he's going to call combats, he's going to get deeper and deeper into your line. You let him, right? You open up channels if you can, just so that he knows that he's going to be tempted. You basically bait the Elven Lord to come further and further and further into your trap, right? Chances are he's going to call a couple of combats, he's going to lose 2 might, it'll be down to 1. That's when you strike. You surround him. So if you're playing Minas Tirith, if you're playing Mordor, if you're playing half troll patrol, whatever you want, you get your big hero in there who's got some might, can kill. Get him in there, get some of your warriors, get the spear supports, trap the hero, call the strike. Now there is a chance they'll roll a 10 and then, will nut his pants when he says Elven Blade again. But there's always that chance. There's always that chance he doesn't get the 3
He
points.
rolls the 1.
And when he doesn't, he will die. Okay? And you will feel incredible. That, for me, is the way to get him. But at that point, he's already called the strike, he's down to 0 might, and you still got another in your tank. You do the same again next turn, and he can't run away because he's trapped. And then you'll get him. Alright? So try to engineer ways to make it look like your opponent has really good opportunities to get into your lines. Right? So the way this could be is you could have, 2 really mushy, useless, sacrificial warriors. So what I do is I'll put 2 Haradrim warriors relatively close together in range of like a Glorfindel. Glorfindel will just jump in, call the combat. Now, because he's got the 12-inch move, he could run around through a forest and make sure you cover for that. But, generally try to shepherd him as much as you can into your active kill zone where you've got a hero and some dudes that he doesn't expect is going to jump him. And then you jump him, and then he dies. That, for me, is the best advice I can give you on how to deal with a big elven hero. Don't jump him when he's got 2 might, because that's 2 turns of strikes, and he might kill you before you kill him. Always when they've got 1 might.
The only
or 0.
I did see a pretty cool tactic that someone did use. I mean, it won't work on everyone. It probably won't work on, like, say, you, Arash. But I have done it to people and I've seen it being done. Where you've got 2 heroes in a fight with, like, either a minor hero or, like, a random warrior, and you'll call a combat and a strike. And then they not see the fact that the reason you've called a combat and a strike is not to go and plough further into their line. It's to go and snipe their hero who's behind the line, and you've already struck, and they can't strike. But that takes a hard-hitting hero. So if you've got Dane Ironfoot on his little piggy wig, that's probably a good way to do it. Like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done it with NAF heroes before.
Yeah.
Like I've had, who was it? It was 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐜𝐿ad. He went and he charged my front line. So he charged 2 Abraham Merchant Guard backed up by 2 Haradrim warriors, who had the poison rerolls from the Betrayer. And I had Raza and Suladan in one fight on an elf. Now, Raza called the strike, Suladan called the combat. And for some reason, he didn't spot the inch-sized gap to get through the line with no control zones into the back of 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐿ad, trapping him with Raza. Right? He does that. They win the combat. Raza kills him. Raza runs through the gap, traps 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐿ad. The Merchant Guard will now need 5s to win 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐿ad on 4 dice. And they absolutely decimate him. I got 3 5+. So he rolled a 4 for his fate, so he passed, and then Raza finished him off. I rolled a 4 from my strike. I got into the back of him, and he was like, you're only fight 8. You can't beat 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐿ad. Nah, mate. Turned over a piece of paper, target said 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐿ad. So you have to fight 6. That 4 took him to fight 10.
You did the double sneak. You did
the double sneak dirty.
You did the
double sneak dirty.
You did the double sneak dirty, where you're like, oh yes, I'm going to call a hurt combat and slip in behind you, and then
he didn't think it was possible.
And then unveil.
So, there were some control zones. So that Raza couldn't get through. You know, I did the triple dirty sneak.
Oh no!
In that combat, Suladan dismounted so he can get those 2 control zones.
I love it.
And then Raza had free pass to get in and trap him.
Raza's an absolute beast.
He's a beast.
He kills everyone. He kills everyone.
I love him.
Yeah. Oh, he's a beast. I need to get Raza again. I've literally just rebuilt my Serpent Horde. Like, I need a Raza again. My boy.
But yeah, I think that's most of the. Well, that's most of the off the top of the head strategies, but this is going to be an evolving thing on how we can, maybe a monthly thing on updates on how to beat elves, because everyone hates them unless you're an elf player.
In which case, you're like sitting there thinking,
this channel's not for you.
Get off.
No, I'm joking. Everyone subscribe and like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try and get road to 2K, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. And if you're an elf player, definitely join my Patreon, and I will send you a T-shirt that says "I love elves." No, I won't do that, so don't do it. You'll be disappointed. The last thing I'm going to say about elves, I've completely forgot. So we'll carry it. No, I'm joking. I've remembered. So it is more for the newer players. One little tip: if you're going into the tournament scene, there's a bit of an elf meta at your local gaming club, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just just have a flick through and just find out what each of the elf factions do. Okay, what the heroes do, because people get caught out with as for last 12-inch move with 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐿ad.
Yes.
People get caught out with like things like Lord of the West, or the fact that I know this guy's got 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐿ad, but I don't realise that he's probably going to be bringing fight 6 elves. It's not so you can like pre-plan and tailor lists against elves really, but it's just so you know what you might be dealing with. You know what Thranduil does with certain things, so you're not going to compel him towards his Palace Guard to give him +1 fight value. You're going to compel him over to the Mirkwood elves. Who cares about that? It probably gives them +1 fight.
Yeah, exactly. I would always recommend taking your rules book, obviously taking rules, but the army book to every event you go to, or having a copy of it somewhere. So that when the draw's made and you know what your next opponent is, and if it's a Halls of Thranduil player, you can then go into Halls of Thranduil, have a look, and say, look, he gets a 6-inch banner to Mirkwood Cav, +1 to wound 3 inches within Thranduil. If he's got the Circlet, he's got Aura of Dismay, and can call Nature's Wrath on auto 6. He's Blade Wrath. The elves get +1 to wound. Palace Guard fight 6 around him. That kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Know your enemy is the best advice we can give you. Know the elf that you're trying to smash his head in, so you can successfully smash his head in, and they then say, "Thank you, boys from Harad. You helped me smash his head in."
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's all we ask. That's all we ask. A thank you. Okay? And everyone needs to remember this very important thing. The only good elf is a dead elf. So go out there.
Then they just come back from Mandos, don't they? Filthy elves.
Go out there and kill as many elves as you can. Okay? That's your mission. Go forth into the realm.
We have an elf kill count meter somewhere.
Yeah, we should. You know what?
And the more elf scalps you bring us, we'll give you a free T-shirt.
Yeah.
Boys from Harad merch coming soon.
That's it. I mean, unless you've got anything else to talk about elves, we can have a quick chat of what the plan is going forward with the old Chanaruni.
Yeah.
So,
last thing, I don't know, maybe fuck elves, so I can think about.
I mean, if you can't beat them, join them. No, don't do that.
No, to be honest, I did that once or twice last year, and I felt filthy after it. It's like I cheated on my wife or something.
That's literally the feeling I got when I played as Vanquishers, you know? It was horrendous. But it did upset a lot of people who I know are quite competitive. Rivendell Knights got annihilated by Vanquishers. I've never been so happy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Rivendell Knight player, but you got bombed. And I didn't even feel bad because he brought Black Riders and Rivendell Knights. Like, this guy was there to win, and I ruined his day. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're still a Chad for taking Vanquishers post nerf though.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still good, but
yeah,
it's got to be a Chad. If you're a real Chad, take an army after they've been nerfed.
Absolutely.
You gotta respect.
You know, anyone can win.
Well, undying respect.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, going forward with the channel, the plan is obviously I'm going to do my very best to give daily videos. Sundays are going to be my day off, where I don't post a video because, you know, even God rested on Sunday. Let's not get religious. Yeah, I just thought I needed a day off. So yeah, that'll be the usual content, faction reviews, kind of like tips and tactics, things like that. Events. I'm planning personally on going to as many events as I can to try and cover them. Arash, I know you just go to events all the time anyway. So
I go on less so than before, ad hoc basis. It's just life gets in the way these days. But I guess for many of you listening, plan was to go to more this year, but then my manager's like, no, you've got to go to Mordor, aka Kuwait, like every bloody week. I missed a lot, unfortunately. I think there's a running joke that I'm always saying, can I reserve a ticket, please? Because everything's always sold out. And then I can't make it anyways, even if the ticket becomes available. So.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to all. I'm the same. To be honest, who knows what I'm going to be doing? 1 minute I'm joining the Navy, next minute I'm in the Army, and next minute I'm selling real estate. So, yeah, who knows? But as for Boys from Harad, I mean, how regular do you want to do this? I really enjoy doing Boys from Harad. I've got good feedback from the people who listen to Boys from Harad. We could.
I can do it. I mean, you know, comment down below how often you want us to meet up and do a elf shit post. I mean, competitive chat.
Yeah.
And you know, we'll be happy to oblige. But I think generally, the plan was once, maybe twice a week if we're lucky.
Yeah, we'll try once a week. If we get extremely bored, these sausages might get extra lucky and get an extra episode.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then
and comment down below which topics you'd like us to cover as well. I think that'd be a good one.
anything in the world. You know, if you want to comment about the war on Ukraine, no, we're not going to be talking about that.
Do you want to get demonetized?
Yeah. To be fair, apparently they call Russians Mordor, so you know.
To be fair, yeah. I think the vanilla missionary sex joke probably got us demonetized, to be honest. So, I mean, comment down below if you want more sexual innuendo jokes, and you'll be happy to oblige.
Yeah, exactly. And if they offended your ears, then go watch any of the other Middle Earth YouTubers who talk in a monotone. That's the thing I'm missing here. There's too much laughter on this channel. It's not good enough.
Like we said, our very limited competitive knowledge. If you lose, disclaimer, we offer no refunds or nothing. So you shouldn't have listened to us in the first place.
It's your own fault. If you've gone out and bought like 15 half trolls, like, what are you doing?
Get smashed. That's on you, bro. That's on you.
Half trolls are trash, bro. We were just messing about.
We'll have to do a half troll. But yeah, honestly, like I'm up for competitive chats, I'm up for meta reviews, I'm up for tier list reviews, I'm up for just ranting or just chatting shit about random factions. I don't care.
Easily.
How to make Wozers competitive? Like,
yeah, why not? Like, just don't ask me to make our competitive Hobbit list because, you just bring all the heroes and spam as many Hobbits. There you go.
We'll save that for April Fools. How to make a competitive Hobbit list.
Yeah, it's just come up. You don't. I'm sorry.
I mean,
they
you
can
mentioned some ideas for merch going forward as well. Well, maybe it's a bit too soon for merch, but like, t-shirt designs and
so that's kind of
something in the pipeline.
That's kind of exciting. So there's a couple of things I've been looking at, and you've been looking at actually, nicely enough. T-shirt designs is the biggest one. This is the first thing I would love to put out there if people are interested in t-shirts. So I think the first design is going to be a Boys From Harad style one. And
that's right. Yeah.
If any of you out there are like some kind of like technical whiz with like art or anything like that, or like you're amazing at making t-shirts, like do feel free, join the Discord.
Great design, yeah.
Show it to us, and if we love it, guess what? You get a free t-shirt of your own design. But
link in the Discord's below, right?
Yeah, link is below in the description below. So do join it, and just message me directly. Like, I always message back if I can.
That's a lie, but sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. I mean, it's only for you, mate. Like, we don't
You
talk.
didn't respond to my nudes, man. You didn't respond to my nudes,
mate. Why do you think I'm busy? Studying.
All right, fine.
Yeah,
I feel ashamed.
I'm not gonna say thank you. God, I sent you
no more.
I sent you your OnlyFans subscription, mate. That's all you need. Like.
no more feet pics for you, man.
Damn it.
Yeah. If you guys are if you guys have any suggestions on how you want us to improve the channel, like we are thinking of maybe getting a graphic in the bag, having some running memes. Meme of the week could be a fun one.
Yeah.
Things like that. List reviews. If you want to post your list down below, we'll review it and tell you how shit it is.
Yeah, and it will be. I mean, no matter what you put down there, we're going to tell you it's crap. So it's just less degrees of shit. So that's how you know you're doing good. Like if you're like, yeah, it's pretty shit.
If it's 10 out of 10 shit, then
you're doing good.
Respect.
Yeah, yeah. This guy gives me Chad vibes, but it's still shit.
10 trebuchets and Denethor.
I love it. Easy. Easy Chad tip. Yeah, the only other piece of merch I'm looking into was dice. I've always wanted my own set of dice. I think that'd be cool. So sorry, that was my phone, go away. Whether
that was my feet, sorry.
My God, man, you need to shave your toes. Come on, I'm paying good money for this. Jesus. Oh, there goes the monetization for sure. Yeah, so I'm just looking at designs basically for what would be called dice. They're going to be like some edgelord, like dark dice design because my name's Shadow Wraith, the biggest edgelord on middle-aged YouTube.
damn straight.
Yeah, wouldn't be any other way. Like I'm not going to call myself like the Ents of the Forests or anything like that. Nah, mate, Shadow Wraith. Shadow Wraith. I'd call myself the Shadow of Death if I could, but no.
Shadow of Death.
Yeah, mate. When I darken your doorstep, I'm bringing forth Elbeasts. Like
the Shadow of Death. I'm bringing one Grimhammer with a bashy tool just to knock you off.
Yeah, mate. Easy win. Other than that. I'm going to have more free time to do these videos, which is ideal. But again, I hate doing this, and I do, to make it possible for me to be able to like do these videos and have Arash come on and stuff like that, and all this content. All I ask is a subscription. It goes such a long way. Liking the video goes a really long way. Morgoth will look down on you with like a twinkle in his eye. And if you're feeling especially like saintful, I don't know, nice, there you go. I do have a Patreon if you feel like it. If you don't, you know, I ain't gonna beg, but it helps.
Exactly.
It does help. Like I have got some Patreons and things like that, and they help buy my new camera, which was a massive boost for the channel. So we just got better quality video, so it all goes on the channel. Back to you guys, basically. Yeah.
For every person who joins Patreon or subscribes, we'll sacrifice 10 elves to Morgoth.
Absolutely. You have to go in the dark web to watch that, though, because, you know, we might be ransacking cosplay events. Like, no, just cosplay, that's a whole different topic.
Join our second channel.
Yeah. Our second channel. Right. Anyway, we're going to end it there. Thank you so much again, Arash, for joining.
No problem.
Yeah, and this was the Boys from Harad, and I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic evening, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.